What up? What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your host, AD Walker, the pusher, the grower, the motivator. I appreciate you guys for rocking with us and being here every single morning, 9 a.m. to 10 ish. You know how we do. And Monday through Friday, Eastern Standard Time. Appreciate ya. Make sure you are sharing. Sharing is caring. And you are part of all that the brothers are doing. Um, I appreciate you guys again for being here. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. If you're part of the text community, make sure you share that text to your community. If you're on Facebook, share that to your community so that let everybody know that the brothers are in the building and we're having discussions that are moving our community forward. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Excuse me, a little burpees this morning. Blessings. Thank you for sharing. Um, and today we're going to have a great conversation. Today we're talking about the pivot, the process, and the positioning. Um, just the cost of being better. We talked about that, like tapped into it a little bit yesterday. The cost of being better. What does it cost you to be better? What does it cost you to go after greater? What is the cost of being more? So we're going to dig into that today. And I want to thank you guys for being here and sharing, caring, and doing all that you do. There's so much happening in the world. Make sure you are staying focused, staying vigilant, being safe, and all that. Let's see. Let's do this. Where am I at? Make sure if you haven't gone to the website, make sure you go to the website as well. Go to the brothersoflegacy.com, brothersoflegacy.com. We have a community partnership portion as well. Hey, Sam. Good morning, my sweetie. In the building. Hey, I don't know if it's going to be live. It's in question. I think it may be. But tonight at 7, if you're in Georgia, anywhere, I don't care, Macon, Savannah, make your way out to Holy Fellowship. My wife and I and another couple are doing a workshop. We our first one. So come see us. Oh, hit the mic. Take this off. A workshop. Yeah. I didn't mean to do that. So yeah, come check us out. If I get this off, okay. Having trouble? Struggle? Is real? All right. So yeah, come check us out. And we may be live. So I will share if we are live, or have someone share if we are live. But definitely I'm expecting to have a wonderful time. Wonderful time. Discussing intentionality in relationships. All right. So again, we're going to talk about the pivot, the process, and the positioning. Talking about the cost of change, what it takes to be better, and what is it that you're trying to be better at. Some weeks ago, probably almost a month and some change ago, I went to a Eric Thomas. He's a motivational speaker. He had a conference called 360 Man Conference, and at the end, or towards the end, um, and it's interesting because it ran from I think 12 to I think 6, 7 ish. I mean, I got there to stand in line at about 9:30 ish. I think I felt like 9:30, 10 o'clock ish. And we went all day. We had like made one break, no food. It wasn't like a struggle. It was great because it was a great conference. Um, it was, like I said, it was a men's conference. That some folks have brought their ladies because they had like a little marriage workshop as well. But at the end, my point of the story, at the end, a gentleman spoke about the I think he called it the 5 pillars, and which was the basis of the 360 man, meaning having your family straight, spiritually straight, physically and financial, and then having freedom. um, and which pillar, what pillars do you have in order? Which pillars do you need to work on? So it was a great conference. And so I talk about the pivot, the process, and the positioning because with understanding the spaces that you need to work on, how are you starting that change? Whether it be financial, whether it be your relationships, your marriage, um, whether it be your physical, getting in shape. Um, what is the change that you're looking to do or looking to happen? The one thing I will say, everything starts with your mentality. Everything, everything, every change starts with you. Um, it's not about your environment. It's not about if other people do. It's about what you do. It's about how you engage. It's about how you step forward to do what needs to, or to do what it takes to become the person that you want to become, in that particular space, whether it's physical, whether it's spiritual, whether it's relational, um, or financial. It's what are you doing to get into that space? Because a lot of times a lot of people have the I will when this changes. I will if that changes. I will when this happens. Um, and we get too caught up in the waiting and never the doing. What's up, Keita? Good morning. Good morning. We get caught up in the waiting and never the doing. Um, so today I kind of want to dig into that. And make sure I'm about 1,000% sure I sent that I sent it in the group. And yeah, all right, make sure I did my job. I'm not by myself because I negated my brothers. Just gotta make sure. Um, and we should have Pastor should be in the building, and Ephraim may be coming through as well. If not, it'll just be this face here, and we'll be talking about how to make that change, how to get through the process, and then about the positioning. Because honestly, that is like that's the I want to say key because everyone says that, but it is one of the biggest parts of achieving success. Is let me check something real quick. Okay, uh, achieving success is that positioning. You know, because you can make the change. You could be in the process, but how you position yourself matters as well. All right. All right. So passes in the wing. We're gonna go ahead and kick this off. Listen, I need you to share. I need you to tag somebody and let the world know that the brothers are on. Where we don't stand out, we stand up. Um, and make sure you're joining our text community. Text LWN to 84576 and join our Discord community as well. Be a part of that. I need some voices in that space because I want to dig into some conversations, but I need a little back and forth. I need, like you need to put a post up so you can read it like 50 times and figure out how you're going to say it. I need some of that. I need you to let's have some of those conversations and go at it without the Facebook restrictions because I realized because Sam was talking to me or elaborating on why she almost got blocked yesterday. I mean, and I think it's an algorithm thing. I think when you say certain words, certain patterns of words, or how you type, I don't even know. Because a lot of people are saying they're just getting put in Facebook jail, and they're not really saying anything, and their thing is like, compared to what I was saying, this is nothing. And I'm still getting thrown in jail. So Facebook is really tightening up probably too much on the speech or things that we say. And honestly, like, I don't know. There should be a space for healthy or even unhealthy. I know you're like, what? Unhealthy dialogue where we can kind of get at each other. Hey, we're human. We're people. Insults are gonna fly sometimes. Let's just keep 100. But sometimes in the midst of insults flying comes clarity. Like, when someone shoots an insult at you, you're like, I see where you're really coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like when someone hits you with something derogatory, like, ah, now this whole conversation makes sense. Like you don't like blah say blah. You don't like Christians. That's what it is. You don't like women. Oh, it's the black man thing that bothers you. Like I'm being honest. Ever have that conversation? Like you having dialogue, like thinking in your head, like, why is this a thing? Why are you so bothered? And then they say something like off the cuff, and you're like, oh, that's why this is an issue. Like talking about police, and somehow BLM come in like, oh, it's that part that's bothering you. Got it. Let's dig into that. I get it. So I think we missed a lot of healthy dialogue. But anyway, that's my plug for joining the Discord community, because in there we can have some healthy conversations with little to no moderation when it comes to just expression. Of course, we don't do the profanity. And I know you're like, you can have a conversation without the profanity. Let's keep 100. But I want to have healthy dialogue where you can say what you need to say and we get clarity on what's going on. All right. So without further ado, getting off that tangent, but plug in the Discord community. We look forward to seeing you in there. All right. So let's go. We're going to kick it off and we'll be right back after. Yeah, let's go. I want to welcome you to the Brothers of Legacy broadcast, where we are changing our community one conversation at a time, every day.
We are creating a new legacy. Change gon' come. 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 A co-op has to start with ownership. Right. We have a mindset of either I want to make a lot of money or survive. Make a bunch of money or I got to figure out how to survive.
When you have a real bond, when everyone has, we come in with real expectations. Mm-hmm. Because this is covenant.
The whole thing is that we as a people, with our money and time, aren't often making this just possible, often vested in the business.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
Damn. Good morning.
Good morning, good people. Good morning, AD. Good morning, Lisa, Mom, Samantha, Keita. Good to see you all out here on this Thursday morning.
Yes. All right.
On this partly cloudy Thursday morning.
Praise the Lord. Praise. We need a little cloud. Need a little cloud in our life. It's been at like 100, not 100.
Into everyone's life, some rain must fall.
Yes.
Then right on cue, here comes Cooper.
Rain falling, not the Cooper falling.
He brings the rain.
All right, guys. So I appreciate you for rocking with us today. We are in the place. My podcast people appreciate you guys for supporting as well. Again, for my podcast people, we're here this one time. Make sure you join our Discord community. It is in the description box of this podcast. So be a part of all the conversations that we're having outside of this broadcast and all of the things that the Brothers of Legacy will be getting into within these coming months. All right. So today, again, we're talking about the pivot, the process, and the positioning. Cooper in the building. I need you guys to rewind and watch. I think didn't you used to pick the dog up? Didn't you show the dog before? Like
there was a time.
I'm gonna try to find out what date it is, guys. I'm gonna put it in the box so you guys can see when he used to. Look, it's Cooper. This is our dog, guys. Oh man. What's up, Richard? Good morning, sir. Good morning. Good morning. So again, speaking of changing, so today we're talking about the pivot, the process, and the positioning. And the pivoting, meaning you realize something in my life needs to be better. And I don't think there's anybody that's of age, at least on this broadcast, that has been in a space where you're either in some level of a cycle, whether it be financial, relational, or just employment, whatever it could be, and you realize something needs to change. And you finally admit to yourself the common factor here that seems to always bring me in this space is me. Like, I keep making these decisions that get me here. And then I think part of that pivoting is changing your decision making. Like, instead of going left, I'm gonna go right this time. Literally and figuratively, I'm gonna go right. And make decisions that are more helpful. And I think going through the process of staying in that space so that you can get better. So there's the pivot, there's the process. And then when I talk about positioning, more or less being in space for opportunity to happen. And that goes way across the board. Just like even with like Brothers of Legacy. There was a lot of changes that I made in my life that I realized there were things that I need to change in myself all the way around, all 5 pillars. They all needed some work. And going through the process of going the right way. He said, straight on. And he said, I got distracted with these comments. All right, so staying in the process of, it's like the journey to the change and being consistent in what you're trying to become, and that's a rocky road as well, because it's like staying on track, not being triggered, doing the right things, not allowing old habits to creep into your new space. And then finally, to me, the positioning is being consistent in a space where someone notices and may give you an opportunity, maybe relational, if you're trying to change something in your life, financial, people notice, and that's the one thing I will say is when you're consistent in a space and you show up and they can count on you, that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes, because I've always heard from managers and bosses, that many would say, I'd rather have somebody that may not know the job, but they show up and do the work and willingness to do the work, as opposed to someone that knows this job, but is inconsistent and I can't count on them. Most folks would rather train you. You already got the habits of being there, being consistent, staying in the fight. Show you the work, because they know they can count on you. So as you level up, it's only better for them, as opposed to someone that knows it all. And we know folks like that. They know it all, but their consistency sucks. Their consistency lacks, or their character is questionable. And the worst part is, like, I've had, work somewhere. Someone's like, yo, we need somebody that does. And I think in my head, I'm like, yeah, they nice, but if you're willing to deal with certain things, you ever had those folks like, when they hear, oh man, it's fire. It's just getting him here. That's the problem.
Yeah, they talk about the NBA basketball player named Kyrie Irving.
Right.
They say when he's on the floor, he's unstoppable. He's a marvel, but you got to get him on the floor.
Right. So I think, so I feel like this is part of that process. And folks like that, if they can realize it before their time is up, they can make the pivot, go through the process of where's my mindset at, that's keeping me from being on time, from being in the space. And then I could finally be in position where opportunity can happen. So, because I don't know, I've been in that space with certain things, but I've witnessed it. Of course, you always see more than you see in yourself. I've seen it more, and the worst is like, I hate seeing talented people that just, won't show up. It's like, yo, you got it. You could, and I think I guess it some may see it to me like, dude, you should be, like, I think you always see it like, I don't know, it's like you see like you just move over here, like that's all you gotta do, and I feel like that's part of the pivoting. You gotta get out of Pastor always says, get over yourself. Get over yourself, realizing what you contribute though can be a greater work to the world and then can benefit you as well. And we just got to get over ourselves. That's the pivoting. Stop blaming everybody else. It's if every time, if you're saying every time I come here or I go to a new space, it always goes awry. Like, what are you doing? What's your part in this? What part are you playing? Especially if it's the same thing. Like, it seems like every time, what part are you playing in the things going awry, and what things you need to pivot? And granted, sometimes it's like a season. Sometimes God is like, I just need you here for this, and then I need you to move on. Don't get stuck there. I need to move on, But a lot of times, and I'm gonna say a lot of times, we're doing something. We have a habit of doing something that changes the atmosphere, that changes relationships. There's something, that we have to just sit down and be honest with ourselves about. And for me, I'll say there are things people have told me for years. Like, you reflect like, man, I've known this forever, but I've not capitalized on it. I didn't pivot, because I'm always blaming outside sources or people that I'm connected to. All right. So I've talked a lot. So Pastor, with yourself, like, what are some of the pivots or things you've had to realize that you had to shift to be in the process of change, so that, because Pastor's like a witness of positioning, even like the career he has now, came in, he got curious, and he was in place when someone was like, hey, let me show you, and from that moment, he was on this way, then it took him up. So for you, in situations like that, like, what was some of the change? I know there's some things that you discussed as far as your foundational principles, that just things that you wanted. So you went after it, and that kind of was your shift, as opposed to like just being stuck. So I'm gonna let you talk and explain yourself and not tell your story.
No, I think that, pivoting is critical. Everything that you said is important. It's critical. You can't be the type of person that always has an excuse. If you find yourself always giving an excuse for why something hasn't happened, then the issue is the mirror.
Right.
You have to check yourself, to your point, get over yourself,
Right.
Get up and make something happen. Now I think about somebody like, think about Moses in the scripture. How many pivots were there in his life?
Right.
There was a pivot when the decree was issued to kill every firstborn son. Right. There was a pivot when he was placed in the water. It changed the direction of his life, the trajectory of his life.
Right.
There was a pivot when he was pulled from the water. Right. There was a pivot to him entering into the palace. There was a pivot to the palace. Right. There was a pivot with him seeing, the Bible says, one of his brethren being physically assaulted by an Egyptian.
Right.
There was a pivot because he saw the man as his brother, and he decided to do something.
Yep.
There was a pivot when he ran away.
Right.
There was a pivot when he found his new family. There's so many pivots in his life. There was a pivot when God wanted to kill him, and the circumcision of a son saved, wife circumcising the son saved. There were so many pivots in his life. And so I think if you take a look at your life, if you look at and reflect, you'll see that there were many opportunities for pivots, and you'll see where you took advantage of pivoting in
Right.
your life, and it got you to a better space. And that's what when you talk about my life, that's really what it is. It's a culmination of pivots and finding some consistency. I think that the key to sustainability is availability. Right? You
Right.
said
That's
if you
good.
don't show up, how can you ever sustain something?
Right.
But in order to be available, you have to know how to pivot, because you
Right.
have to deflect things that would block, that would incapacitate you, things that would keep you from being available. Those are
Right.
excuses.
Yes.
You know,
Definitely.
people with a lot of excuses are people who have not found the gift of pivoting.
Right.
You know, so in my life, I've constantly had to pivot. You know, I being without a home, finding myself homeless. I wasn't in a house and failed to pay for it. No,
Right.
I ended up in an awkward spot where I ran out of money and had nowhere to go.
Right.
It happens to people every day. And so I had to pivot. I had to figure out, how do I get from here? How do I keep my family covered? How do I keep them protected? I got to do whatever is necessary
Right.
to make something happen that is different, that improves my circumstance. Right. Now, everybody doesn't have to start from there. You know, you could be a business owner and see your business flattening out.
Right.
You need a new marketing plan, some kind
Definitely.
of creative strategy to stir up business.
Right.
And you have to do research. You have to talk. You have to pivot.
Right.
Right. So life is a culmination of pivots, and you can take that any direction you want to take it. But I would say that the biggest thing when it comes to pivoting is, if you want something to change, you have to shift.
Yes.
You have to
You
shift.
have to shift.
Period.
Definitely. Definitely. And just for clarity, you know, just because you just shift doesn't mean it's automatically just going to get better. You know, as you can see, the middle part right there, the process is the part where, you know, you have to stay in it, even when, you know, the repercussions of where you were going are still happening, you know. But the pivot is, like I said, starts with you changing your mindset, changing your actions, and just staying in the fight, staying in the new focus. I got this new focus. But during the process, there's still a ripple effect of old things that are still going to come up. You know, with every action there's a reaction. So with that, you've made other actions prior to that you still have to deal with. And just because they come up doesn't mean you're not in the right space. It's just
think about Moses, man. I'm gonna go back to Moses because I've spent so much time in Exodus recently. You know, the Bible doesn't say anything about when Moses knew that he was an Israelite, that he was a Hebrew child. It doesn't talk about that. But it does say that he saw one of his brethren, an Israelite, being assaulted by an Egyptian. Now, I know that, you know, it could very well be that back in those days, you could look at somebody and kind of know where they're from or what their makeup is and all of that. You know, maybe there were clear differentiators between an Egyptian and, you know, and a Hebrew, you know, that could also be the case. The reason why it wasn't spoken, but it was not spoken. In other words, Moses had to know who he is, who he was. He had to know. And so you have to know who you are. You said it earlier, AD. You know, a lot of people have spoken into my life and told me this and told me that. But if you don't know who you are, if you can't see it, I can't see it for you.
Yeah.
Right. I can't be like, what's amazing is I love my wife. I love her dearly because my wife can see things that I can't see. Right. That's where she's my helpmeet. She helps me in areas where I can't see. And when she sees something that I'm not able to see, her encouragement and her input allows me to pivot. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, that's me not being able to see a situation the way she sees it. That has nothing to do with how I see myself.
Right. That's true.
There's a difference.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You have people that come into your life that help you, that aid, that enable, they allow you to see things that you may not be able to see. They share insight with you that you may not have picked up on. And it helps you see things differently. Right? It can help you see yourself more clearly. But only you can know who you are. Only you can know what you're capable of. People can tell you what they believe about you, but only you can know.
That's true.
I tell my children what I believe they're capable of. But if you don't know that yourself, it doesn't matter how much I believe it. Doesn't matter. I can't make you lose weight if you're overweight.
Right.
I can't make you stop smoking if you're a smokeaholic.
Right.
I can't make you stop cussing if you love using 4-letter words.
Right.
I can tell you and I can help you understand how it makes me feel.
Right.
I can help you see how it might make you look.
Mm-hmm.
I can say to you that you're better than that, but if you
Right.
can't feel and know that about yourself,
Right.
I can't do it for you. So you got to know who you are, know your capabilities, and pursue those and pivot towards those things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's real.
But
And not let anybody tell you different. I say that to people all the time when I pray the prayer of salvation. When you get through praying, when you say amen, know that you're saved, and don't you dare let anybody tell you different. You got to know that. You have to know you're saved.
right.
You have to know that you're a champion. You have to know that you're a king. You have to know that you're able to do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You have to believe that you can make it in Major League Baseball, make it in Major League Soccer, make it in the National Basketball Association, make it in politics, make it in the financial industry, make it being a counselor, a coach, a
Right.
team builder, whatever you're looking to do. You got to know that that's who you are. You have to know your makeup so that you can be pivoting is a lot easier when you know your capabilities, when you
Right.
believe you're in yourself.
Let me ask you this though, and I get with the knowing, but you ever see, and I know you have, you ever see somebody that does stuff that's amazing, but it comes so naturally to them, it's like easy, like you look at them like, how you just do that? Like
Everybody has that person in their family you never saw them study,
right, right,
but they
never.
got straight A's. You never.
Yeah,
I'm like, how
you manage that, right?
yeah,
Right. But the thing is, like, and is it our job, right, when we see things like this, to definitely point it out? Because sometimes people don't realize how gifted they are until someone may tell them. And why I say that, it's kind of like some people don't know how well they had it or how bad it was until they see other people, or they see other people's lives like, oh man, I was extremely blessed. Like, and then you see other people like, man, I was extremely poor. Like, and what I say, and what I mean by that, so you tell them about it and then realize, like, really? Like, I can build this house in 2 days. Like, I can do this myself. Like, is that really a gift? In your mind, you're like, I don't know anybody but you that can do this. For them, it's like, this comes so easy. Why can't anybody else do this? Like, you understand what I'm saying? So it's having to, you really have a gift. You really have a gift. And them really recognizing, like, I do have a gift. Like, I am great at this. Do you understand what I'm saying? So how do you get somebody to really know that this thing that they have is a gift, and it's not something that everybody else can do like this, or there's not many people probably in the world that can do this thing like you do it?
How do people come to know and love the Lord?
Well, it's an acceptance. They come to church.
Yeah, but
they
you
receive it.
won't know if no one tells you.
Right.
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 So it's the same concept. We overcame him, the devil, by the blood of the Lamb and by the words of our testimony.
Right.
Right. I can share with you the benefit of your gift in my life.
Right.
Right. You want to know you're gifted? Look at the impact that you have
Right.
when you do what you do. Right. You're an excellent cook. People love to sit at your table to eat.
Right.
You're gifted in that area.
Yep.
Right. How do I know you're gifted? Because it takes you 20 minutes to do what it would have taken me an hour and a half to do.
Right. Right.
So
Yes.
you figure something out
Right.
that I have yet to figure out.
Right.
You can look at a refrigerator. You can open a refrigerator that looks barren to me,
Right. And there's nothing in
and
here.
you can bring forth.
Right. Yes.
You can pull something out of that refrigerator that meets or that satisfies my belly.
Right.
That's a gift, right?
Right.
You can see things differently. You're gifted
Yes.
in that area. You can take a song that I would absolutely wreck.
right.
And make it sound like you were the original composer.
Right.
When you do this, it makes me feel this way. When you do this, it does this. When you do that, it does,
Yes.
You learn your gifts by how successful you are in certain areas, how things come to you. I was having a conversation with my mother some years ago, and this was not a great day. This was a day where mom was, God bless her. This is a day where mom was probably tired, irritated.
Okay.
And she was talking about, I get in the kitchen and I cook, she was talking about her relationship, and I'm cooking and doing all this kind of stuff, and I'm slaving over the stove. I said, Mom, wait, stop. You can't complain about the kitchen. That's like Briar Rabbit complaining about the briar patch.
Right.
Because you live in the kitchen. The
Right.
kitchen is your domicile. It's your domain. It's where you're at peace.
Right.
So you can't use that and call it slaving because you're gifted in that area.
Right.
So when you're in the kitchen, you're where you want to be. You're where your heart is satisfied.
Right.
Right. And you never half step. So you can't call that slaving away and being overworked.
Right.
Because it's a gift.
Indeed.
It's your gift, and I'm saying, there may be people that take it for granted.
Right.
But that can't be your complaint. You can't complain because you go in the kitchen when you're mad.
Right.
It makes you feel better.
Right. Right.
So stop it.
Sam says my son is picking up the skill, looking in the fridge and putting together this. Yes, he is. He's really getting to that cooking thing. And I'm excited. And I like to eat.
Patterning himself after something that he sees as very successful. He has a mother who's very successful in the kitchen. He sees the impact that her gifts have on the family.
Right.
He wants some of that. That's good. That's good. You're doing well when people are patterning themselves after you.
Right. True.
Your gift. So
what's up?
That's how I see it.
Mr. Reparations in the building.
Top of the morning, fellas.
Yes,
how
indeed.
You doing, man?
Feeling good.
All right. So just a quick reset. We're talking about the pivot, the process, and the positioning. And
probably should hit that process a little bit.
You said what?
You should probably hit on that process a little bit.
Oh yeah.
We've been pivoting for about 20 minutes.
Right. All right. So
trust the process.
This is brothers. We're gonna take it and stretch it out and make it a whole week conversation. So we talked about shifting. Yes. So now
part one.
So now we're gonna kind of dig into the process after the pivot, after the change, after you realize you need to make that move. So for you guys, we've all grown and matured, and years don't make maturity. It has to be intentional because you used to think that, like, you just get older, you'll mature. I've watched people stay in the same space for the last couple of decades. Like, you still on that? Like, you're still there? Yeah. Like, it's been 2 decades. You still there? You still bothered by your brother taking that ham sandwich? That's still on your mind, And so the process of maturity and growth for you guys, what was some of the spaces that help you in the process or the change to get better?
Like, and it's interesting that you mentioned like the offenses, because the certain offense does keep us in a certain place, right? Like you said, the ham sandwich. Maybe that was my last ham sandwich. Maybe I got up and cooked that one, prepared it. Maybe that was my favorite pig that I personally killed or something. I don't know. There could be a deeper connection to that. So I don't make light of that. But one that we often sleep on is past success, right? So if you was the best running back in 9th grade, and that's the last real win you had, it might keep you in that place. And that's why when I see you at the 30th class reunion, you still talking about that 500-yard season you had, but like,
right.
It was success. So, and just like we got to get over offense, you got to move past success too. Past success can hold you sometimes just as much, if not more, as a past failure. Because sometimes when people win, maybe they felt it was a fluke. You know what I mean? You know, I competed in some sports, and I've had some times where I came in as the underdog and I won when I wasn't expected to. So people were like, sometimes when you win, it shocks you too.
Right.
So I'm saying, so sometimes people feel, let me hold on to that because there's no chance that even though I just did it, that I would do it again. So
Right.
so success can hold us, man. You got to get over. If you did something well, if you preached, you tore down the house, if you led the presentation, if you invented Facebook, they've been buying up other companies left and right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he didn't just sit on Facebook and like, well, that was the best thing ever to come out.
Right.
I revolutionized the game. That's it. No, he was on to the next one.
Right.
So we, looking ahead,
Right.
looking to the future, looking past the moment is the best way to push past that pivot. What's up, Rich? What's up, Sam?
So, okay, so we talk about not getting stuck in success, moving forward, being in the process of better. But how? Like, how do you not get stuck in that space when things ain't going the best? Because you ever have to dig back into your past success because it's like, whew, there have been moments I've been looking in the mirror like, God, I'm just not winning right now. I'm not winning. I want to win, God. I need a win. And you might have had one, but it's hard to see. Does it make sense? Like, you ever had, it's hard to dig up a good win. Like, I need a win. Like, even as small as I went to go get 10 chicken wings, I looked in there was 12.
Or what if you looked in there, you went to get 10 and there was 8?
Oh,
yeah, but a win is what, man? It was more than 5. It's perspective, man.
Right.
But it's perspective.
Right.
It's perspective. You got to look past that moment.
But that's a learned behavior.
Mm.
Right? Because in life we start with, but I wanted 4. Right?
Right.
Why did he get 5?
Right.
Never mind the fact that you can only handle 3.
Right.
But your eyes are wandering. They're you're doing the comparison. But I want to deal with this process thing, because what does process require?
Time.
Process requires understanding.
Right.
Process to developing a process means having some idea of the expected outcome. Right. When I think about a complicated process or a complex process, I first think about what I'm expecting on the other end.
Absolutely.
And then I work from there backwards.
Right. That's where you start.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to jump into something without an expectation of the end result.
Right.
Yeah.
And when things are not going the way that I like or the way that I prefer them to go, then I'm going to be like Paul. When Paul talks about the spiritual things in 1 Corinthians 15, he says, what about spiritual things? Be ye steadfast and unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Right. So when you're building a process or establishing a process for your future, you have to be steadfast. You may not get immediate results, but when you're unmovable in your thought and unmovable in your actions, and you continue to press forward, you're going to get there. It's really that simple. And so you build a process that's designed for you to not have to work. Like, this is what I say. When people ask me, can they have something? Hey, can I borrow this, or can I borrow that? Or can you help me here? Can you help me there? My response is always, I'll always do what I can, but not what I can't. And I don't want my process, the makeup of my process, to be things that I'm unable to do. I'll never get there. So in order for my process to promote consistency, it's got to be attainable. Right. I am never going to be Denzel Washington. But I can be the best version of Brian McCrory on stage. And I can use Denzel as a target. Right. I'm not trying to be him, but the processes that he uses, that he leverages, that made him great, I'm going to be consistent with those things. Because it's attainable. I can see him. I know I could be. I know I could win an Oscar if I work hard enough.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
I may not, but if that's my goal, then people are always going to get the best of me.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And so all of my processes, my actions when I rise up in the morning are supposed to contribute to me and that target that I set.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
True.
understanding the target, and I think to add to that, when Pastor was talking, it let me know that you got to have an expectation of what's all involved in the process itself. There will be days where it looks like you're not winning. That's a part of the process. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, you know, when we pressing towards things, sometimes it feels like this doesn't look like what I'm going after.
Right.
But it actually it does. You know, many are the afflictions. Like there's sometimes we sell this false hope that like once you pursue something good, it's supposed to be all gravy from there. A bed of roses, flowery ease,
Yes,
happy
indeed.
mornings. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying?
Every morning.
You're gonna open the door and somebody not gonna say thank you. Like, you know, so it's up to you to say, but did I do it for the thank you, or did I do it because I felt like this is who I am? I'm a
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So like I think we have to push past some of those feelings, because there's a lot of feelings involved in this process.
A lot.
I think you should stay off IG if you can't handle other people appearing as if they're winning. I think you should stay out of the family reunion conversations when cousin Delroy pull up on 23s. If you can't handle it, it's going to look funny to you. You're going to interpret it different. You know what I'm saying? You're going to take it in different. It's going to feel funny. You know, there's going to be times where you look very far from your goal.
Right.
People won't understand. You know, it's going to be a cheap version of what you want. There's going to be, as soon as you get close, like, why do people buy them Jordans from the flea market? Because it give them the look. You know what I'm saying? But why not save up just a little bit more and go get the real ones?
Right.
Because you want that look now. You feel me? So there's always going to be somebody out there. There's always going to be a market for somebody who wants it now. So you know, it's some patience, some clear expectations of how it looks. But I think pass on the money, man. Like, when you get in it, you got to know what you're after.
Yeah. Listen, and getting caught up in what someone else is doing or what they might have. It's funny. I was having a conversation with a couple of my neighbors in the last couple of weeks. I got a neighbor down the street from me, who, like, there was a house like there's a house like 4 houses down from me I live in a cul-de-sac. I'm at the end of the cul-de-sac, right?
Okay.
So to the left of my house, if your back is to my house, like 4 houses down, there was this vacant home that it just, you know, the trees, the grass, everything started growing up. What happened is one of my neighbors saw that house. Now he's in construction and transportation. He saw that house.
Right.
He went and looked the house up and saw that it was for sale. He bought the house for, like, I don't know, $400,000.
Wow.
Right. So we're having this conversation, and like my wife is in real estate, you know, and I'm like, oh, you got that house right down the street from me? He's like, yeah, I got that house, man. And we're going to fix it up. And, you know, they completely gutted the house and they're redoing stuff, cleaning it house, painting, and they cut all the brush back and everything. The house looks really nice. They put some flowers in the yard, and he's getting ready to list the house for like $700,000.
Wow.
Right. Because the market is so crazy.
Right.
So, it is.
Yeah. So, you know, we're real estate people.
Right.
So we're in the real estate market. And I see he made that hit. We call it hitting the lick. He hit a lick. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And he may not sell it for 700, but if he sells it for you know, he probably put $30,000-$40,000 into the house.
Right.
He bought it for 400. So let's say he put 50 in it. He bought it and he spent $450,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, wow. I said, what did you do? Get like a short-term loan, a hard money loan? Like, nah, man, I paid cash.
Wow.
Oh, my bad.
I just paid cash. That's fun to count.
Right. Oh, so these are my neighbors.
I just went to account and got my cash out.
Just to remind you what tax bracket you in. Look to your neighbor.
Yeah. Oh. But in my heart, I'm like, I want to be that dude.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
right.
I want to see a house and just go grab. You know, like I'm like, man, we all got to grow up someday, bro.
Right.
Tip my hat to you, right? So I'm talking to one of my other neighbors who's down the street from me.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah, man, did you hear what Eddie, he bought the house around the, I'm like, yeah, man, that's crazy. He's like, yeah, man, I look for opportunities like that. I'm like, you do?
Right.
Like, you're looking for like a $400,000 house to flip? He goes, well, no, not like that. I said, yeah, because I ain't operating on Eddie's level. I'm keeping it real.
You thought it was about to be another neighbor.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, I got this cash. It's hot. I'm ready to spend it.
I'm trying to find that foreclosure for like 140,000. I'm gonna flip that. Eddie's on a whole nother. But the great part about it is you have two black men talking about another black man,
right?
And we're talking about his process, and we're giving him kudos. We're not hating on him,
right?
No,
right. I'm saying, man, I'm trying to get there, and like I'm looking at my friend Bill, and he's like, and I'm like, yeah, man, I know you guys are living large. He over to driving one of those. I forgot the name of the car, but
Tesla.
I can't think of the name of it. I don't know the name of it, but if I can't think of the name of it, it's a nice car, right?
Right.
Not a Kia, you saying? Okay, all right.
Yeah. And so, but my point is, but he's retired.
Right.
Okay. And his yard is flawless. It's fabulous. It's beautiful. It's greened out, and he in his yard daily. And he's like, yeah, man, he was telling me how nice my yard was looking. I'm like, stop. I appreciate you, but stop. Your yard's sitting over there all manicured and everything. I'm like, man, I'm just trying to grow up.
Right.
But the point is, here I am listening to these brothers, and I'm appreciating their processes.
Right.
And so when I hear you, I'm like, how did you get retired into this neighborhood?
Right.
Because I bust my butt to live here.
Working.
And you here retired.
Right. He said, right. I landed.
I want to be in this neighborhood comfortably knowing that even if I'm not working,
right,
I'm good. Because that's how you live it.
Right.
Yeah. And so you have, like, part of your process is learning what a successful process looks like.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't get to your expected end if you've never met anybody that's made it there.
To the expected end. Yeah.
Right.
You need to see the reality of what it looks like and recognize that this is possible. So, and that's why it's important who you have in your circle.
Yeah.
As you're building your processes.
True.
Because you want processes that are rigid,
right,
that are proven.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
That's what you want. When you watch, you're like, how many people have Tide in your laundry room?
Right.
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 You have Tide in your laundry room because a lot of people use Tide.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And so what I'm saying is, you don't have to go recreate something. There are proven methods out here if you do the right research to get you where you need to be. Now, some of us are trailblazers. We want to do things differently. I tip my hat to you. It's going to be a little tougher, but I'm saying I'm the guy. Show me a process that is proven, and I'm going to go and make that mine.
Right.
And I may, tweak it a little bit for my comfort, but I want to know that what I'm doing is attainable.
Right. Definitely.
That's all. That's your process. Well, that's not the end of it, but
right. Definitely. You got to have that. You got to have the process. Got to be. Get out the pivot, get into the process.
Yes, Richard. Don't covet your neighbor's things.
Right.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the process is crucial. It's crucial.
Absolutely.
It's crucial to getting in space. It's the traveling. It's the journey to where you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
And knowing, like you said, knowing exactly what you want, and then working backwards, having a goal, having an expectation. Because you're gonna get flustered, you're gonna get frustrated in the process, because things are not always gonna go your way, and there's always gonna be some set of challenges. There's always gonna be some set of obstacles, outwardly and inwardly, because you're gonna struggle within yourself. Am I going the right way? Am I doing this correctly?
Yeah.
I'm not having to win.
Yeah.
And it'll look different too. I think it's
Right.
important to make sure you're defining success, because it like, okay, like, well, no, that was a private conversation. Well, it's like this: if a certain person has a certain level of success,
Right.
and is something that like they got past talking about, right?
Mhm.
That might be successful to him. You feel me? But my
Right.
success might be doing what he's doing on the 300,000 level. You know what I'm saying? But what I can copy, what I can try to mimic, or what I can try to attain is the fact that he was able to do it comfortably and
Yeah.
still live, still pay his bills. That's what I should pursue. I shouldn't be mad if I can't do it in the same neighborhood with the same budget or the same. You get what I'm saying? So, like, what does success look like for me? Because I think a lot of people are very successful, but they've counted themselves out because they're
Right.
basing their success off of looking like Jake's or looking like, you know,
You saying
the
something, bro?
biggest drug dealer in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Whatever
Right.
your thing you're going after, but like if it don't look exactly like that,
Mhm.
take the principle from that thing. You know what I'm saying? What do you really want? I want to be able to do what I do comfortably.
Right.
That's what I love about the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell.
Right.
The book Outliers talks about the 10,000 hour rule.
Right.
Right.
Mm.
Once you have put 10,000 hours into a specific skill, you should be at the top of the food chain, or at least an expert in that skill. Once you've got 10,000 hours in, the book Outliers talks about, you know, NBA champions, and the average age of an NBA championship team is 29 years old,
Right.
you know, or above 25, and because you've got the 10,000 hour rule in by the time you've been doing something for 20 years.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. What am I saying? I'm saying that you have to, like Richard put here, you have to put, to be wealthy, you have to already see yourself there. I love the testimony of TD Jakes. We'll say this and then I got to jump. TD Jakes said he was preaching his heart out as a young preacher,
Mhm.
and he happened to be preaching one day, and the owner of what's that TBN
Okay.
overheard him.
Crouch.
Crouch
Yeah.
overheard TD Jakes preaching, and he wanted to know who that was, and he brought him in. That's
Wow.
how we got to know who TD Jakes is.
Yes.
Just like David, the ruddy little fellow
Right.
working in the fields.
Mhm.
They came and got him
In position.
in
Right.
position, doing it. Right?
Right.
And that's the thing. Like, yeah, everybody want to be TD Jakes, but no one knows that TD Jakes just happened to be heard by Crouch.
Right.
He wasn't famous when he was heard.
Nope.
He was
I know.
consistent, and that's why he was heard. He was on post, doing what he was supposed to do. And what I'm
Right.
saying is, yeah, you might want to be TD Jakes. You might want to write a play and all that kind of stuff. Write it where you are.
Right. Right. Right.
Do it. Preach where you are. Live where you are. Clean cars where you are.
Right.
You understand? Fried chicken where you are. You know,
Right.
stop trying to compete with KFC. You don't have to compete with KFC. All you have to do is win your audience.
Right. And it's easy now. You can compete with KFC.
That's not the
It's easy.
point.
It's
That's
easy.
not the
It's easy
goal.
now.
The goal is not to
I know, I'm
compete
just
with
sorry.
KFC. The goal is to make something that is succulent to the person who's eating
Yes.
it,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
and have a process that's repeatable.
Right. Yes.
Right. What made McDonald's famous is not the flavor of their food. It was the fact that it had a repeatable process.
Right.
They could get you a burger from start to finish in 5 minutes.
Right.
That's what made McDonald's famous.
Yeah.
Repeatability.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
I got to
indeed.
jump, y'all. I love y'all. I got to get on the call.
All right. Pastor.
Have a good one. Have a good one.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, that's
I was listening to Big Tigger years ago, man. And he said, whenever he comes to your state, he was talking about rappers trying to get on, right? And he said, whenever I come to your state, don't worry about being global. Don't worry about none of that at first. The first thing you got to do is as soon as I touch state lines, I hear your name. All right.
Mhm.
So if I'm in Florida, that's why we was on Plies way before y'all. Plies, Trick Daddy. You know, it's all there's some people who dominate their area. You know what I'm saying? There's some
Right.
people who dominate their region. So
Right.
we might bump UGK a little bit harder than somebody in Minnesota. You know what I'm saying?
right.
and,
Right. Right.
and y'all up north, y'all weren't feeling outcasts. And they was setting the whole trend for us. And they legends, and y'all will put respect on their name.
Really?
More successful
Really?
than
Really?
any duo that you want to bring out here.
You know what?
Mob
I'm gonna let
Deep,
you add
all
that.
that,
I'm
whatever.
gonna let you add that.
So the important thing is, like, I agree with him. Dominate where you at, man. Take care of where you at and build that buzz. But so many people dismiss their area and all this.
Yes.
They just think it's nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They try to push past that for something when they whatever, Sam. Whatever. Your favorite rappers respect. Whatever. I don't even get to it. So
we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. We'll argue later. Let's see. Richard says success has many, many levels with like the elevated Empire State Building, each level and elevated new mindset, numerous new different challenges you need to learn and progress, right? Success leaves indicators and clues. Indeed. Most times your process is more valuable than your end results. Indeed. That's true. You know, it's so funny how he brings up the TD Jakes story because, you know, my thing is most success, like if they're teaching you anything, they're more or less teaching you to be consistent and just be in position. Like I can't, because like Pastor said, like Jakes got found because someone heard him. Jakes could be like, I'm gonna teach you guys how to become me because I can't. I can teach you how to be consistent. I can teach you how to be up there. I can teach you how to persevere when nobody's watching you. But as far as you just got to be in position. And then one day somebody might hear you and call you up there. Because he was like, it was between Crouch and then I remember him hanging out with I can't remember the church, but Carlton Pierce, you know, when Carlton Pierce was like huge, you know, when you spoke there, it was like, oh yeah, you're the next one.
You made it. And I know, and I try to keep it wide for everybody, not make it just preaching. But I'm saying, if you look at TD Jakes back in the 90s or whatever, like the way he was, he didn't even, like people were picking at him then. You feel me? He didn't seem like the one that would blow up, but he kept coming. He kept delivering. Yep. This man is you know, and not come for the bishop. Bishop, he a fat dude. Right. He wears funny color suits back then and now. Yeah. You feel me? He talks with a list. He talks with. I mean, there's everything against him. You know what I'm saying? You know, Noel Jones is who you would think. You know, skinny suit, good wearing suit, can hoop because TJ really can't hoop. But this man was consistent, bringing a fire, and then he turned from the person they pick on to like, oh no, we want to be like him. You get what I'm saying? It takes a lot of us to just stay consistent, stay who you are. And I say that easier than I say that it's actually to do that. Because when you're not winning, when it's not happening like you think it should, it's gonna tempt you to say, let me fit into what they doing, right? So that's why you got New York rappers talking like they from the South. When y'all did trap music, you feel me? So like it's if they would have stayed true to who they are, then maybe they would be relevant like they were back then, right? So they said, 100%. Nope, we're gonna give up. Why? Because the South win. So they went from picking at them at the Source Awards, you feel me? From booing one of the best duos ever in the rap game to now they want to come down here. Bro, Raekwon lived down the street, bro. So it's like it's because
it's expensive in New York.
Okay, whatever you say, whatever you say, you feel me? So like it's important to just define that resolve that makes you say, I'm gonna stick it out. I'm gonna give me a shot. I'm gonna give my version of this a go. You know what I'm saying? So it don't be tempted to change up and not be who you are. And then you won't even sell it. You can pull it off a little bit, but you can't be somebody else for long.
Right. Indeed. He's gonna let the outcast thing go. It's okay though. It's okay.
Just an example.
Just an example. See. I said TD. He said my favorite is TD Jakes. Indeed, Richard. He said, give me James Taylor and James Brown. Indeed. So listen, guys, we appreciate you for rocking with us, hanging with us. Make sure you join our community. Text LW into 84576. Text LW into 84576. We appreciate you guys for being here, being a part of all that we do. Like I said, tonight we'll be doing the Purposeful Forever, our first kind of workshop. I think it will be live. I talked to the AV guy. Okay, I'm getting ahead now. Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll be sharing that. So make sure you check that out. It's going to be a great time. We're talking about intentionality in relationships. So we look forward to seeing you guys tonight and tomorrow at 9 8. No, I take that back. What's today? Thursday. We will not be on tomorrow. So this is the last show of the week. So I appreciate you guys for rocking with us all week long. And we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Monday at 9 a.m. We got a guest coming through. Again, we appreciate you and all that you do. Continue to share, continue to support. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. As always, know that we love you. God love you more. Continue to stay safe, do the right thing, all that and then some. And we'll see you next week. Peace out.